I've been wearing the Oura Ring 5 for 5 days now, so today I'm going to share my thoughts, opinions, and review on this product, as well as the newest software updates that have been released coming through the Oura Ring Gen 3 and newer. First, this thing is insanely small. It is 40% smaller, and you can't notice the difference unless you look at it next to an Oura Ring 4. And luckily, I wore both, so we'll talk about the data later. But this is the brushed silver Oura Ring 4 on the left and the brushed silver Oura Ring 5 on the right. You can just see the thickness, the depth, and the overall size of the ring is drastically reduced. They still have the notch. One downside actually I don't love is that you can't really feel the notch on the 5, whereas the 4 I can feel it, so I could adjust the ring in the dark without having to look at it. But this one, the notch is so subtle you can't even feel it. You have to look at it. That just might be a downside of it being so tiny. Since the Oura Ring 4, we lost the bumps on the sensors, so they're pretty not noticeable at all, but you can see the sensors on the inside of the ring. And after wearing it for 5 days, I love the Oura Ring 5. If you're like, I'm not sure if I should upgrade, the only reason I would upgrade is if you really want the smaller ring. I personally don't like wearing rings, but wearing this for the past 5 days and just seeing how small it is when it comes to grabbing weights at the gym, grabbing objects, eating food, washing my hands. For some reason, I get really bothered and annoyed when I wash my hands and then my hands are all wet and then it's like wet under the ring. Because this is 40% smaller, there's less water that gets trapped. It gets less in the way when I close my fist to grab things. Like it's just protruding less often. So I've actually been removing this ring less often. So I'm like, this is a ring that I'd actually wear all day. I like wearing the 4 at night. Like I'll put it next to my nightstand. I'll put it on when I go to bed, take it off when I wake up. But the 5 isn't a ring that I'd actually wear all day. So that's one of the biggest value adds of it being smaller. It's more subtle and it actually feels and looks like a real ring. I think one day I'd like to use this as my wedding band. So if anyone wants to get married with an Oura Ring, I'm ready. You know, not bad. I'd have to get a smaller size, but this could easily work. Whereas with the Oura Ring 4, like I can't even close my fingers. It's so thick. In terms of size, it is massively different and you won't notice it unless you see them side by side in person or in this video. There are also links in the description if you do plan to buy the Oura Ring. Clicking those links helps support the channel. The material is also slightly different. It's non-allergenic titanium with a scratch-resistant physical vapor deposition (PVD) coating. It's water-resistant up to 100 meters. As you can see in the 4, this is the brushed silver. There's signs of character. You can see it's a little bit scratched here and there. It shows that it's been used. And then in the new one, it looks brand freaking new. I've been wearing it for 5 days, so no scratches. But I think if we give it 6 months, I'm curious to see, will this show signs of usage? The black, I think this is the stealth color, shows even more signs of usage. The gold and the rose gold, I think in the 4, started to kind of discolor. I had a friend who had the rose gold, I think it was, or gold. And after about 6 months, it started to look silver. So I'm really curious how the gold and rose gold will stand up over time as well. Next, they're claiming better accuracy on the 5 versus the 4, better workout heart rate, HRV readings. So let's look at the data. I wore the 4 and the 5 for the past few days, and I want to compare the apps side by side. This is not perfect science, but let's dive into it. We've got the Oura Ring 5 on the right-hand side and the Oura Ring 3 on the left-hand side. I would also take into account the size is slightly smaller on the 5 for me and the 14 on the 4, so that could impact data. Now, I woke up early to make this video for you, which means my sleep was ruined. But if we look at the sleep scores, they're exactly the same. That's a good sign. Total sleep, about a 7-minute difference. Now, if we look at REM sleep, we've got a 3-minute difference, deep sleep, a 7-minute difference, latency, about a 1-minute difference. Overall, the key metrics aren't going to be exactly the same, but I would say they're pretty close. And if we look at the trends, they should be even closer. Our overall sleep stages, looks like the 5 showed me awake at this time, whereas the 4 did not. Interesting. The newest update is nighttime breathing. Looks like we're showing steady on both. My lowest heart rate, 53. That's a good sign. We want these to be pretty close. And average HRV, 44. I would say the graphs look very strong and similar. Now, the first night I wore the Oura Ring 5, it looks like it's found a mostly steady nighttime breathing. So this is the sleep apnea detection over a 30-day period. I had a few breathing disturbances in the middle of the night, whereas the Oura Ring 4 did not show anything. This software update is coming to the 3rd gen and above, I believe. Sleep scores, relatively close. Next day, sleep scores, close enough. I think resting heart rate will be very similar, HRV close. But then the sleep stages and sleep time will be slightly different, but close enough. We can see here almost exactly the same. The 4 is a little bit bigger and maybe it lost some data here, whereas the 5 is pretty snug, so it looks clean. So from a sleep data perspective, they look pretty on par with just a few nights of data. Okay, what about activity? similarities. We got a 94 this day, 97, 92, and 90. How close was the step count? I would say about 200 off. That's not bad. And then once again, a little bit over 100 off. I wore both rings on opposite hands, so I would argue that's very good. Now, what about our readiness scores and recommendations? Relatively close. They're saying good. The recommendations are almost exactly the same. Your resting heart rate lowered late last night. Body temperature, respiratory rate, resting heart rate variability, pretty much the same. This day, there was a bigger divergence, 73 versus 88. One gave me a crown, whereas the other did not. I wonder if this was based on the activities from Apple Health, potentially, or just HRV balance. Looks like you don't have that data point yet. So this is not long enough trends over time yet. But our key foundational metrics, pretty close. And then today is another 11 off. Once again, I woke up early to make this video for you. We got a good versus fair. So I wonder if someone would not work out if they got a fair. So that's where our key metrics pretty on par. The body temperature probably has the highest deviation, but resting heart rate, HRV, very close. Respiratory rate, also very close. And if we look at the home pages right now, you can see these slight differences in recommendations, the readiness scores, the coloring. Although both these rings were worn on opposite hands, the left side has less trends over time. It only has about 3 days of data, so take that into account. So far today, the steps are relatively close. I can even go ahead and put the rings on if you want to see live heart rate. I did a workout yesterday, so we'll dive into that data too. Live heart rate looking close enough. Now, one thing people asked about was the heart rate at night. Does it show LEDs when you're wearing this in bed? And yes, it does. I'm going to tap measure heart rate. We're going to turn the lights off so you can kind of see if you can see the live LEDs here. But yes, it's not dark enough and it's kind of hard to show here. You will see green, sometimes red LEDs lighting up when it's trying to measure your heart rate. Now, yesterday I did an outdoor run with both Oura rings and both iPhones, and we did get a little bit different of data. So this will be very interesting to look at. Obviously, the distance is based on the GPS of your iPhone, but the heart rate and steps should be from the Oura ring. And as you can see, on the left is the Oura ring 4, on the right is the Oura ring 5. I had much more spikes and drops in the 4 versus the 5 seem to be more flat. I wonder if it is because this 4 is a bit bigger, it's moving around a lot more. The left side also has the newer software update where the right side still doesn't show yet for some reason. But if you want to see more testing, I'll have to do the average heart rate of 145 on the Oura Ring 4 and a 135 on the Oura Ring 5. I wore my Apple Watch to check, so it was 135 on the Apple Watch as well. So it seems like the Oura Ring 5 was more accurate in this scenario. Now, another big win is live activities for workout tracking. So when you work out, it can actually show your pacing, time, duration during the workout on the Oura Ring live activities for iPhone. So it's on your lock screen. It's at the top part of your iPhone. Let me show you how that works. It's very interesting. I don't know why you use this if you already have an iPhone, because you could connect your AirPods as a heart rate monitor to the fitness app. But now Oura has the same kind of things built in, and then maybe it's just easier to integrate with the Oura app. On the left side is the old app. On the right side is the new app. So we're getting more data fields. We're getting live pace, average pace. Shows that GPS is acquired when you're starting a workout. The Oura Ring battery icon is also different. You do not need cell service to get GPS data. That's just a global positioning system. It's separate from cell phone service. Putting the old software experience on the left, the new one on the right, you can see when you start a workout, it's slightly different. You tap. The old one only has a few workout options. The new one has suggested activities plus live heart rate source. You can use Apple Health, AirPods, Bluetooth device, or your new Oura Ring, old Oura Ring. It works with, I think, the Gen 3 and up. Then you'll start to connect that Bluetooth device if you want to use an external heart rate monitor, like a chest strap. You could probably even connect your Whoop if you wanted to. The old one will just then prepare you to start recording the workout, whereas the new one shows you live pacing, heart rate, shows you when the GPS is acquired. And in the old one, all you see is the duration of your workout. You can pause, resume if you need. Whereas the new one, you see actual live pacing, the actual distance you're running. It's easier to pause it because there's live activities, which means if you swipe away, you'll see the Oura Ring icon on the top. You can press and hold that to be able to see your time, pace, distance. I wish this live updated. I feel like it should. It does on the lock screen, but not in the dynamic island. But if you want to pause your workout, you can easily be able to tap that, and it opens up the Oura app to be able to pause your run as needed. And then on the home screen, your lock screen, you'll have a live activity. If you make sure to allow that, you'll be able to see the duration, pace, and mileage. So you can just pull out your phone quickly, turn on the screen and see this information instead of using a smartwatch or a GPS watch. This is a great alternative, especially if you're not training for something and you don't need like perfect information or don't need easy access to just lift your wrist up. Great way to track your runs. One thing I did notice is like pausing on a GPS watch is always easier. I can just tap once, boom, I pause. Whereas if I'm using the Whoop or Aura or any iPhone-based tracking system, you have to pull out your phone from your pocket, unlock your phone, tap the app, and then press pause, and then also unpause once you start running again. So when you're at a stoplight, like it just gets a bit harder, and I think most people will not pause. If you're really training for like a marathon, like I'm doing a fall marathon this year, subscribe if you want to see that. It's not ideal. It just makes the user experience, the quality of life a little bit harder. But if you're just someone who likes to casually run, get some workouts in, and you want to just track it, this is a great way to do that and not have to buy another product. But then the competition comes to, why don't I just use the fitness app on iOS versus the Oura Ring app? The fitness app does provide more data. You can connect your AirPods Pro 3 as your heart rate monitor. The Oura app does fully integrate, but it doesn't show you at the same amount of data. You can't change the data fields. Like we have 5 data screens here on the fitness app. I can see my 2 heart rate monitors on the bottom right here, whereas the Oura app is just a bit more limited. Now let's talk about the hardware and the chargers real quick. This is the Oura Ring 4 charger. This one is the Oura Ring 5 charger. Look how similar they look, yet they're not interchangeable. The 5 is size 13, the 4 is size 14, and let's put them in the right direction. The thing is, I can take the 4 and place it on the charger, and you'll see that it starts charging, lights up. The 5, I can also take on the charger and place on the charger, and it lights up. And now they're both charging, as you can see inside the apps. Okay, but what if, I've noticed, if you have a larger Oura Ring, can you use a different size charger? Technically, no. But I found that it does work if you properly line it up. One thing I was curious about is, can I put the 4 on the 5 charger if it's bigger? Well, technically, no, it won't fit, but see if I slide it in the right position. Where was it? Where was that? Right there, boom. Now this lights up, but technically it is not charging. So, oh, we lost it. Oh, there we go. So it lights up, but it is not charging. So I think they also changed the wireless charging technology. What I would have loved to see is, hey, I forgot my charger. I'm at a friend's house. I do have the bigger rings. If I can put my 14 or 13 size ring on a 6 charger and still get some juice, I don't see why that shouldn't work. If the charging is just one side of the ring, I wish it would just magnetize to the charger. I could use one charger with all the sizes. Other brands like Ringcon, Ultrahuman, some of these do provide that feature, whereas we just haven't seen that in the Oura Ring. But what I do love and that I highly recommend getting is the Oura Ring charging case. So this is massive. You get a month of battery life by just charging the case itself. It easily slides on. I can close the case. I can toss this case around in my bag while it charges. I think this is like a non-negotiable. Definitely buy this if you do have the Oura Ring. It just makes it so much easier to charge and not have to worry about it, especially if you travel a lot. But then the downside is like you can swap between rings. So as you can see on the phone here, I have Oura Ring 5, I have the 4s. I can activate the 4s if I wanted to on this. I have the charging cases connected as well. So if I want to switch between the Oura Rings for style, I do need multiple chargers still. So now I have 2 regular chargers and 2 portable chargers. Just a lot of devices here. Okay, the next feature that's big is locate. So let's say you lose your Oura Ring. They changed how you can find it. Right here, you can see all my rings, my charging cases. If I want to go and find my Oura Ring charging case, let's say, I actually have no idea where it is. It's supposedly somewhere in this room. But this feature is going to make it easier to find your Oura Rings when they're nearby and you don't know where they are because they're so small. Let's tap this one. Let's see if we can find the very close nearby. Oh, very close. Okay. So now, right here. If I move it away, it becomes very close. If I keep taking it right there, very close again. We're going to go farther nearby. Very close. Why does it keep switching? I'm going farther and farther and farther. Nearby should be very far. Okay, so it's not perfect. It's not like Apple Find My where it gives me an arrow of where it is, but it does make it easier to kind of scan with my phone. So that is nice because I continuously take the ring off and misplace it. Now, I haven't seen the blood pressure feature yet, but it should be coming out today. I want to test all the newest software updates. I will continue wearing the 4 against the 5 for another week or so. So comment down below what other accuracy questions you have. There is a link in the description if you do plan to buy it. Let me know what else you want to see. I have a lot of rings. I have a lot of devices and I'll keep testing them just for you. My name is Shervin. Follow me on Instagram at Shervin. We'll see you in the next video. Peace.